Hey, it's Michael Wolf Grafstein, Master Hypnotist, otherwise known as Matrix Mike. And today I want to talk about why confidence isn't something that you build as an athlete. It's actually something that you trust. So just keep an open ear and open mind, and maybe if you are a swimmer, or it doesn't matter what type of athlete you are, maybe this may relate to you. So I want to talk about a swimmer, basically a swimmer who looked like two different athletes. And in practice, she was amazing. She was effortless. Her body trusted herself. Her rhythm was natural, and she didn't think. And this is one of the keys. She just moved. She just did whatever that she needed to do. And confidence wasn't something she was trying to do. She was just doing. And that is so important to remember. But when it came to competition, things were totally different. Things changed. Shoulders get a little tight, which means with your stroke, it's going to be less. Breathing in gets shallow. And we know in swimming, we need deep breaths. Stroke lost its rhythm. And what happened was she just got caught up in herself instead of trusting herself. And what happens now in the mind is every little mistake that's made, it's almost like it's a threat. And when you feel threatened, what do? You want to protect yourself. But here's what you didn't know. And this is what I want you to hear clearly. Every mistake you rise from teaches your nervous system, I'm safe. And when you feel safe, you can trust yourself or you can handle it. That's the part that I find most athletes don't learn. You can make a mistake and that's fine. And the key is to learn, to be able to learn from it and rise above it and trust yourself and start to thrive. That is so important. So sometimes when we make a mistake, and like her, when she made a mistake, she thought she was slipping. She thought she was going down. Instead, what was happening, it was teaching her a lesson, which is so important. And many times in the nervous system, if you're not in a safe environment, making a mistake can equal a threat. And we know what happens when a threat happens. And that can lead to that thing they call anxiety. So what was happening was I'm making mistakes, and my body is now protecting me. And sometimes with some athletes, it will shut you right down. Now, ask yourself, is that something you want? Probably not. So what's important is to understand that a mistake is part of the learning process. A mistake is part of the growing process. And I'm sure that you have a phenomenal coach. I'm sure you have phenomenal support. And with that, you can learn from that and take that with you moving forward. The other thing, too, is what I find a lot of times is as an athlete, are you looking for perfection? Because the reality of it, it doesn't exist. You want to be good enough. You can strive for perfection and accept the fact that maybe it won't happen. That is a possibility. And just focus on just doing and taking the steps, learning from your mistakes, because the more you learn, the more mistakes you make, the more you learn. And as you learn, the thing is, you're going to make less and less mistakes. And as you start to do that, and as you start to improve, you will notice you're going to be smoother in the water or whatever sport you're playing. You'll start to notice that your confidence is going to start to grow. And the reason for that is because you've made the mistakes and you've learned to correct them, you know below your surface of conscious awareness that if you make a mistake, that's okay because you've learned from it and you can move forward, even if it's in that same competition. So a mistake, if we look at it as a repetition, as something that you've done a few times, well, now you have the opportunity to correct it and make it better, right? So every time you make a mistake, learn from it. You are able to rise above that mistake. You're able to go out there and be better. And maybe what starts to happen, as I said before, is your mistakes become few and far between. And as this is happening over a period of time, your confidence, you start to feel better about yourself. You start to trust yourself. You start to go a little bit faster. So the next time there's a major competition, you have all of this training, all of this learning within your mind, knowing that if something maybe goes off a bit, you have the ability now to make the changes in time at that time to allow yourself for a better outcome. So remember this. It's confidence is something that you learn, and you learn over a period of time. You make a mistake, you make a correction. You make another mistake, you make a correction. But you're learning. And as you are learning, you are starting to trust yourself. As you start to trust yourself, there is less friction, less hesitation. And what that does is it leads to more confidence. And when you are more confident, that leads to you being calm. Again, when trust rises within you, a lot of that outside noise starts to disappear or fade. It's always going to be there. That's just a reality. But the more confident with the repetitions, accepting mistakes happen, you are going to be able to do so much more, be able to achieve so much more, and be so much more when you start trusting yourself. You know what? This doesn't just happen in sports. It's you as a person. This could be happening at work, happening at school, you know, um, parenting, dating, all those things. But the key thing to remember is your confidence grows by learning from your mistakes. You rise above them. You trust with inside, and from inside out, you start to grow, improve, and be better. So, what I'd like to ask you to do for this week is I want you to keep one promise to yourself because, and keep it simple, because every simple little promise you keep to yourself starts to build trust. And again, increasing that trust starts to block out that white noise, whatever's coming. And you'll notice that over time, things will start to shift for you. You're going to be more confident. You know, you are going to pay less attention to the outside noise, and you're going to start to feel much better about yourself. I'm sure you feel great about yourself right now, but you will also feel better about yourself. So remember, whatever the obstacle is, I believe that you can rise above it, trust in yourself and in your body, and thrive from the inside out. Rise above, trust, and thrive. I'm Michael Wolf Grafstein, otherwise known as Matrix Mike, and I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to listen